Yeah. Oh, that's not.
Yeah, they plan on living there, but I think the wife makes the stairs up as well. So we did some kind of clever things, like some of the arches don't have doors around it. And when you walk in the front door where the bedroom is, it was like just a little 4x4 wall.
You can't miss him, right?
It was Mike. He was keeping straight.
All right. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Mr. Lee, do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum. We have 6 members present in person, and Director Payton is participating by telephone.
All right, thanks. Actions that we have from the executive session, I'm going to make a motion that we contact Associa to get a person on a retainer of possibly 60 days to cover the office for accounting and things while T is out. So I make a motion that we.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We need to approve the minutes.
Madam Chairwoman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the month of October.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, covers unanimously. We're into the president's overview. And let me just say, I don't have a lot to say except I do want to thank all of the board members and the staff that have helped and been working diligently on the budget, putting it together for 2022. It's definitely a labor of love. We are trying to be extremely physically responsible with your money and our money. And you will see that later in our budget discussion. Also, I want to thank Judy. She is unbelievable, and if you've seen all of the things, and she happens to be here, if you see all
just for this.
you have no idea what's coming, but all of the things that go with the flowers and the details that are up there with all of our fall accessories and stuff, and she does that by volunteering and giving her own time, and technically we could not do a lot of that without her, so we do thank you, Judy. Also, you mentioned that Edna Gandy has now taken over the kids crew. She's now the new chairperson of that committee, and last night I didn't get to go, so I'm not real sure, but last night they had the movie. No? When is it?
Next Tuesday.
Oh, next Tuesday, sorry. Next Tuesday, they're doing the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and it's going to be up by where we do the National Night Out up by the guards. And this is something that she is going to continue to add, but she's trying to add a lot of things to build for the kids and families that we can bring in and have, and she'll be doing some things down here. So I just want y'all to know that committee is full swing and that she is now in charge of that. And next we move to Kemper.
Morning, everybody. Thank you guys all for your time today. I'm going to keep mine short and sweet as well, like Karen. We've got 2 events going on kind of simultaneously right after this. So I've got to attend to that with Jen, but I just want to chat a little bit about October. Fiscally, October was our highest revenue month that we've ever had for the club. Previously, it was 130,000. We did 151,000 this past October. It set the trend that October really is the season for weddings. Those of you that kind of came down and saw, we had 1 to 2 weddings every single weekend, and that was pretty impressive. So talking about that, restaurant revenue outperformed by just a little over $3,000. So on the marginal level, as it compares to the banquet, we did $87,000 banquet revenue. So it really shows the promise that events do drive the bottom line business here. So 72% average profit per event that we were running. We held 23 banquet events through 23 days of service. So that's one event a day, and on most days, we actually had more than one event operating simultaneously. As far as cost of goods sold, food cost of goods sold came in a little bit lower than forecasting, which is fantastic, but it's a large part increased due to the increased menu pricing that we took, as well as the new menu items on the menu that we rolled out in early October. 33.6% cost of goods sold on a 33% budget, so just 0.6 over, which is a number I'm comfortable with considering the inflation we're battling. But we are seeing price increases from every level of our vendors, from linen to cleaning services to food and commodities and all that fun stuff, as well as liquor, beer, and wine. We're doing our best to shelter, but we can only shelter so much, and eventually we will have to take our prices up to combat that. But we're not quite at that point yet on the liquor, beer, and wine side. That may change in upcoming December and obviously 2022. So we're keeping a close eye on it. For labor and operating expenses, labor was our biggest battle again this month. October is a 3 payroll period month. There's 2 of them in the entire year. This was the one that we had. So we had 3 payroll periods hit this entire month. That set us back on our labor budget, if you will. So we went over on that side, as well as the benefits, taxes, and adders times 3 payroll periods. So that's 3 periods of health insurance, 3 periods of dental insurance, medical insurance, employee insurance, unemployment insurance, all the insurances times 3. But we have put in measures to monitor. We do monitor labor on a weekly and daily basis. I've slimmed down schedules as much as we can comfortably do it to still allow the right amount of service and keep all of our outlets up and functioning, as well as not lose our team members. The last thing that I want to do is start this upcoming year at the point that we were at last year with a very bare bones staffing model, considering we already have a considerable amount of events booked for 2022 and to finish out in December. We did spend a fair amount in catering rentals, but we kind of discussed that with the board. A solution going into 2021 would be to purchase some smallware goods that we've been needing. That's plateware, flatware, glassware that we can use both on the restaurant side and the banquet side, so we don't have to keep renting it. So we're putting in quotes with a couple of our vendors right now in an effort to beat the January 1 deadline, to which all of their quotes will probably go up by 5% or more. We did attend the wedding expo in Plano, Frisco as well. That was our first wedding expo. So Jen and I went out there and we actually got 12 leads from it. So in theoretical value, if it's $10,000 a lead, it's $120,000 in prospective business. It was also in great preparation for the January event that we're going to attend in Dallas, which is the big one. That's the big kahuna of wedding expos here in the city. It's a 2-day event on Saturday and Sunday. We'll be present both days with a large booth set up to take as many potential wedding people as we can, but we're also shopping to see if people that already have their events, have their venues, want to do rehearsal dinners with us, want to do bridal showers with us, because we can offer those types of things where some venues are strictly a wedding venue and that's all they do. For NPS and Resi reviews, we stepped the mark up. We're up to 9.6, and in Resi we're at a 4.8 out of 5. Google stepped up from a 4.4 to a 4.5 star with 6 reviews on Google. That's also a metric that we're tracking. As far as events and activations, like I said, we did 23 events in 23 days of service. So that was by far our busiest event schedule that we've ever had. But one that when we were at the Bridal Expo, we already had, I would say, 7 out of 10 guests that were going to come and check in with us. We're looking for 2022 October. So October really is the prime time to get married. And that was kind of a good thing to know, because we will change our pricing and change our models to reflect October being a primarily preferred month for most people that are going to get married. I think the weather's just really nice. It's not quite winter. It's not quite summer. It's somewhere nice in that happy fall that we all like here in Texas. To finish out the year, we're looking at about $66,000 worth of events still on the books. That includes the wedding that we have here today. And booking pace, we're at 175, so about $25,000 shy from the $200,000 mark for 2022. Our goal is still beyond that, so we're going to do our best to keep it going. We have $130,000 actively working in our pipeline. So if we could just close half that business, that would be another $75,000 on our books. Our goal is to close all of that $130,000 and bump us well into the $300,000 range to start 2022. For community-focused events that we're going to offer to finish out November, as you all know, as you may know, we're going to be open on Thanksgiving. We're doing a limited service from 11 to 3. The turkey trot will be starting and stopping here at TYC. We're gonna open at 10:30 for the bar, 11 o'clock for the dining room. In typical
Can't do a
fashion.
turkey trot without some booze in you.
I had a lovely meeting
And
with
maybe we'll be out our medicine then.
I had a lovely meeting with the ladies from the events committee, who helped put together the agenda for the rest of this year and talking a little bit about what they'd like to do next year. I told them to keep Jen and I on their radar every single event. We'd love to have them down, or every single meeting they have, we'd love to hear them out, hear their feedback, hear what they're trying to do. So we can work with it and work in tandem. I think that was an opportunity for us last year, or this past year, I should say. And we're not gonna make that mistake going in this year, working with other committees too, like the welcoming committee, the events committee, kids committee, all the committees, if you will. So we have 10 pre-orders right now. So those are the take and bake orders. We closed that out as we had to order what we needed by yesterday, by Friday, for what we're gonna have this upcoming week. Deliveries are a little tight being a holiday week, and a lot of businesses, especially our vendors, are already kind of slim on who they have to drive the product out to us. So that's closed out, but we are still accepting reservations for Thanksgiving service. If you want to see me, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, you're more than welcome to see our host staff. If you click on the This Week at TYC, it should drop you right to a link that you can put in your reservation. If that's something you're interested in, by Tuesday, we will close off the reservations, because what we have is what we're going to plan for, what we're going to prep for, and what we're going to sell. But that leads me into the next kind of fun things that we're going to do in this upcoming week. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we are doing a community game night. So that's welcome to kids, new folks that haven't come down. We're going to bring a bunch of board games into the ballroom. We're going to have a cash bar open. Obviously, the dining room will be open for food if you're interested, but kind of a fun way to come down and see the club. As we know, people will have family in. We're also going to do live music in the ballroom on the 27th, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So if you have family in town, if you have friends in town, you want to show off the club, feel free to bring them down, show them a good time. We'll obviously have the other outlets open as well for that day. And into December, we're going to be a part of the tree lighting ceremony. We are going to supply the food. We're doing a walking taco stand. So we'll have ground beef, fixins, everything that you need to make tacos. And we took the revenue that we generated from community night out, and we're going to turn that in to buy the food for the next event. So that's how we're going to try to offset those costs, pass the benefit on to the people that are going to come out and enjoy the event, and still make sure that we're a part of all the community events that are happening. As far as sales and marketing, we generated 124 leads this past October. That's roughly $82,000 in potential business. We have 22 leads converted in October, so that's deposit taken, not yet revenue realized, but kind of putting more on the books for 2022. And a couple other things. We're gonna do breakfast with Santa, dinner with the Grinch, a Christmas Eve dinner, which is gonna be white tablecloth. We're doing wine pairings, all that fun stuff. And I've got my sights set on the New Year's Eve party, but I still got to meet with a couple of committees and kind of see what you all are looking for. The community party down in the lounge on Halloween was fantastic. It was great to see all the people gathering. That's what I envision more of the community events and more of the community parties kind of looking like, other than the smoke alarm. But we learned fog machines don't do well in here anymore. With that, we're just gonna keep going. And I appreciate your guys' support. I appreciate the continued patronage. November is a little bit of a slower events month for us, but it's all gas right back on into December. We've got every Saturday booked already. And we're probably gonna have some of these Fridays booked as well.
December 11th is the Christmas tree sailboat lighting stuff, so
Yeah.
you may want to
The lighted
promote
boat parade.
that. Go for it. I mean, it's you know,
You said
it's
the 11th.
definitely something to see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, people go down, some people want to sit in the ballroom, Charles, unless, your ballroom is probably gonna be booked, but it was a key day.
Is it it's a
Yeah, it's a
Saturday?
Saturday.
I think we do have probably, every
That's
Saturday's
okay.
already
We have
booked.
work-
so-
I mean, we have to-
Anywhere here is.
Yeah, anywhere.
Okay,
And you can actually get an exact timing because they were trying to time where they would be at specific.
and I'm
times.
assuming that's a after sunset thing, right?
Yeah, it's.
Because it's gotta be Christmas lights. Okay, that makes sense. Perfect. Hey, Tony, thank you for letting me know about that. As well as to any of you, if you know about community events, things that, this will be my first year here in Rockwall, but just things that we should be looking at, focusing on, things the community likes to be engaged in. It doesn't necessarily have to come from one of the committees, it can come from any of you. But we definitely want to make it known that we're here, and come out and check us out.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Hey,
Thank you.
no, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Enjoy your budget presentation. Bye, everybody. Bye. 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 Bye.
No.
Smart.
All right, let's do the treasury report.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being here this morning. I'd really like to personally thank Karen Lee for stepping into the office quite a bit these past couple of months to help sign checks, especially while I've been in Dallas. They've been managing to keep the banking on point and keep things running for our community. So I really want to thank all three of them and the entire board for stepping in. We budgeted 154.69 in revenue, and we increased it by 1,188 to 155,257 for the month. Personnel expenses were increased, and that's to be expected because we had additional support in the office, and we also had an additional pay period as well. And one of our valuable members is on medical leave right now. So I really appreciate you all bearing with us while we try to get you the final numbers for October. Even though what I'm reporting is accurate, there's still not the total bank statement that we're hoping to have in the next couple of days. We really need some T support there. Our CLCA reserves for October are 390,529.76 with an increase of 37,062. KSM losses were 17,149, but again, as Charles mentioned, that was due to an additional payroll period and rentals. So we're looking at helping them, assisting them so they don't have to rent anymore. I know that also the residents have taken a little bit of hit on this because we've had to use plastic glasses downstairs when there's been a full-blown entertaining going on upstairs or areas booked and they've got all our glassware booked out. Also, Charles and his team have been leaving property to save money in those deliveries, and the delivery alone is $300. So they've been going out on their own way into Carrollton to pick up rentals so they can maintain these groups. If we start putting, and you'll see it in the budget, when we start increasing and giving them more of an allowance so they can increase this, the small wares basically is what we call it, we'll be saving that money. And then we'll start seeing an increase in our monthly revenue. So for the past couple of months, we've been really focused on protection, securing our office and cost saving measures to go into 2022. We're protecting our office by giving a valuable member the time off that she needs to recover, and hopefully we'll see her again in the very near future. But we've had to bring in an outside accountant, or will be, so we can get our finances all locked in. Our maintenance team, Chuck and his team, have been cutting down trees and offering free firewood to our community. So this is valuable savings. So if you haven't picked up any free firewood, if you have one of those fireplaces, please do so, because this is only going to help you in the winter when we get hit with a really cold ice storm. And then Chip has been diligently working on new security measures to put and protect our residents with modern cameras and technology. A new generator was purchased, and that will keep our security up and running and our phones operating, especially if we do have these power outages. So that's what we've been focused on.
All right, thanks. Randy, the update for the environmental.
Yes, we had 12 approved projects for November. 3 of them were on Scepter alone and a couple on Yacht Club. I know that we've got some ongoing homes being built, and I know there's a couple of more still coming. We don't have many lots available in Chandlers anymore, but things are still moving as far as new construction because it's a great place to live. Again, if you get a chance, drop in on one of these EC meetings, first Wednesday of each month, and it'll kind of give you an idea about what makes everything work and the process that everybody up there goes through to try to keep the community the way we all like.
Chip.
A couple updates. So we had, we tracked the activity through the visitors and heavy load gates. We had roughly a little over 14,000 vehicles pass through in the month of October. We have put our contract security services out on competitive bid. We're evaluating those bids as we speak, and we'll be making some decisions in the next week to 10 days. On the maintenance side of well, back up on security, we're also looking at some new technology for license plate reader cameras. We're doing that in conjunction with a third party, give us a little bit better information of who's in the community. We have also, I know everyone's pleased about the speed bumps that were put in at the main gate for the residents. Candidly, I have a brand new Corvette. I don't like it any better than anyone else. However, those arms are $1,000 a piece. And that doesn't include the lights on the bottom. So every time the arm hits the car, not only breaks the light, or the arm has potential, they are breakaway. So at the, in order to keep our warranties in place, we put the speed bumps in. If we can get folks to slow down, we'll look at some alternatives in terms of the resident only lane. I will tell you a little secret. Some of you figured it out, is if you you can offset so that only your right side or your left side need to go over it, which makes it a little bit more palatable. And on the maintenance side, as Lee said, Chuck and his team have done a lot of cleanup and getting some of the trees that we had previously gotten. One of the trees they cut up down in the park was a $10,000 tree for a third party to come in and cut it up. They've pretty much taken care of that now in the off season. That firewood's available down at the club. They're getting their fall things wrapped up because we want, if Judy's happy, the maintenance staff is happy, everybody's happy right now. So we're doing that. We'll be doing some late fall epoxy street repairs and getting those things wrapped up. So I think that's pretty much where we are from the maintenance standpoint.
All right, thanks. Lee, you guys? All right, go ahead.
To set us straight. So the events committee's been working hard to find fun events for the whole neighborhood and get people together. There's a family movie night coming up. It's on Tuesday and at 5:30. It's November the 23rd, and it's gonna be the main gate field. They're gonna be playing the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and everyone bring your lawn chair, blanket, and flashlights. They're not gonna have the big generator for the light because it's loud and it's a movie. So bring your flashlights. Charlie Brown's only about 30 minutes. I think they do have a second movie that they could play, just depending on turnout and see what they really would like to do. So Charlie Brown Thanksgiving for sure, and then it could be more. Who knows? The church spot is on Thanksgiving Day on Thursday. Everyone's meeting at 9 up at the parking lot, kind of like they did for the St. Patrick's Day little fun run we did. T-shirts, if you've registered, the t-shirts have been ordered, and they're planning to deliver them this coming Tuesday and Wednesday. So there was a little bit of hold up with everything. So, but they will be picking them up in person, deliver them to you on those days. So, the Chandlers Landing Christmas kicks off on Sunday, December the 5th. That's from 4:30 to 6:30. That's the tree lighting, and so it's Sunday, December 5th for tree lighting. There'll be live music. The golf cart parade is at 6. The yacht club, like you said, is will be serving some free food, and there will be an appearance by Santa. What? Is Santa excited? Santa's excited.
It's not that exciting.
Santa's got his outfit. Also, there will be a brunch with Santa. It's tentatively scheduled for the 12th. Some people think it's the 11th, but I have the 12th, so that's what I'm going to say. So watch your email. And there'll be Santa Claus at some point.
On the beach.
To come. So
I think that's on the 11th. It's on a Sunday.
well, that's the
Oh, that, yeah, so it'd be the 12th. Weather permitting. It's always been gorgeous.
it has been. Santa really likes that one.
Yeah.
Santa's usually kind of
Yeah.
tired, but he still pushes.
Santa's got beard in the golf cart.
Anyway, so that's really the events committee. Then I know that I wasn't able to be at the last meeting with them at the Charles because I've been sick, and also, but they, you know, I got the full report in this. They're all super excited for the things to come. Also, during the turkey trot, and just like last year, there'll be some comfort stations, but there'll be snacks and donuts and maybe even a beer or two along the way. So if you want to, and maybe there might be a large turkey also dressed up. You don't know. So.
It's important to note that this is the first year we've opened up for Thanksgiving. And I'm just so proud of Charles and his team for doing that, because there are people in this community that see it as a valuable way to bring in their families and not have to cook and do all that expense and the cleanup. So even though it's starting off a little bit small at 55, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, because it's the first time ever. And I do think that they'll see an increase. Everybody's seen a decrease in takeout this year because people are getting back with their families and traveling. Even my restaurant, I mean, we've seen a big decrease in takeout food, but the overall for the restaurant is will do really well. And I think that they'll increase in the next couple of days once the word gets out.
Jen,
Yes, I'm gonna talk about the communications committee. We have Mark Stewart's heading that up, and I've been sitting with him, and we're talking about putting out one. Right now, we're gonna probably do it bi-monthly, and so we get more volunteers. So I'm also gonna put out a message on Town Square to see who else wants to contribute or be part of the newsletter. Some of the things we'll put it in is the president's message, BOD board meeting highlights if there's some for that week or that month, sorry. And then we're gonna have a monthly calendar. We'll welcome the new neighbors on it, talk about upcoming events, maybe have a special interest page that talks about someone in the community that's done some wonderful things that we wanna share, or maybe just even talk about one of our maintenance people that are always driving around and helping us out. And maybe even seasonal tips for like winter and that kind of thing. So look forward to that coming. And then also I do wanna welcome some new residents that have moved into the neighborhood for November. We have Betty Evans, she's on Columbia, Charles and Leisha Reed, they're on Aurora, and then Kevin and Madeline Reed, which there's no relation, it's kind of funny though, both have Reeds, on Lionheart, and then Mark and Tammy Ostriger on Constellation, and Christina Sutton on Columbia. So welcome.
We do want to welcome them.
okay, we're gonna open up the budget. I'm gonna let Jose, the treasurer, open it up.
Okay, does everybody have a copy of it? No, okay. So, you know, the first item over here is the that's all of our dues and everything coming in. If we take the 10% increase, which it looks like we're more than likely gonna do because we have a new bank note coming up, they'll put the houses right below like 185, which is, I think is very doable for this neighborhood, for everything that we, that's sorry. That's the old one.
That's the old one.
Oh,
It's
okay,
185.
sorry.
So it's just under 185. So, I mean, it's very doable. And we don't have that many lots, really vacant lots remaining. The condos are even less. So it's 10%. So what you're paying now, you just increase it by 10%. But I look at the value of what we put into this building. I look at how the community is really coming together. I look at all the events that we're able to do down here, and it's just wonderful. So yeah, we've got a haul ahead of us, and we have to make sure that we tighten the belt and that we meet that note payment that we'll get down to here in just a minute. But overall, I mean, people are dying to get in here. So if you want to leave, I mean, you'll get really good value on your home. We don't want you to, but you will get great value. So anyway, overall, we expect to bring in revenue over 2,139,875. Our fixed expenses, these could change a little bit, but we're looking at 130,800. Admin expenses, and of course that may change a little bit too. But this is roughly at 46,800. Going on to personnel expenses. Again, we have all of the total amount, 962,520. Utilities that, you know, always fluctuates. Moving on down to property, maintenance, And that's usually, you know, kind of standard. We are looking at several areas though, just, so y'all are aware that I think we, might have overpaid a pool, maintenance this year. I think supplies, the chemicals were really high. I think having someone come out here and maintain some of our pools. So Chip and Chuck, I think, are really looking at how we can cost save and do some of that ourselves. So even though we're going through all of this, know that this is kind of on the high end, and we're looking to contribute about another 40,000. When Karen and I sat down and looked at areas that we really think that we can save, we're thinking that we'll be able to put more into reserves. And then we went back to operating expenses. Is that what I'm on next? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And Chip is also looking at security saving measures, so that's in there too. Yeah, the health insurance is a big one too, that we're looking at saving money. So we've got about 67,500 in operating expenses. And then going down to our yacht club expenses. So this is where the big one sticks out with the new note payment of 30,250 a month. So that's gonna increase. So we also budget in for Pepper Sports Management, and this is what we were talking to you about with that additional payroll with that comes twice a year, the additional softwares, catering items that they might need to get them through some of those tighter months, and that's the amount that we're allotted them to give each month in like 171,000 for the total year. So the note for this year is principal and interest. That's why before we were only paying interest. So when it comes out to it, our budgeted reserves will be 115,000. That's on the low end. We expect to increase that by another 40,000.
Right, do we have any discussion on that?
Just a couple of clarifying items here. So, thanks, Lisa. Great job. So, you know, the budget's balanced. Couple of challenges are, which we all see at home, are inflation on commodities. Pool chemicals, if you can get them, are very expensive. So we're doing the best we can here. We have 2 pools that require permits from the city of Rockwall to operate. They're considered commercial pools. Chuck and his team, while Chuck holds a license to maintain the pools, we bring in a third-party commercial pool company to help out 3 days a week with that. Because of the big pool here takes quite a bit of time and has some special needs in terms of application of chemical and things of that nature. But we've had some challenges with the cost of chemicals and availability of chemicals, so we'll be monitoring that. And hopefully we can operate that within our budget. From a security standpoint, we're looking at some technology that can offset some of the hours. Labor is a big thing. It's no different here, is getting staff to come to Rockwall to work. So we're going to see some increase in labor. We're trying to offset some of this cost with some additional technology that I've reviewed or will be looking at next week.
There's also, just so that everybody knows, we are looking at being extremely fiscally responsible. We have gone line by line. We are still investigating things like the security contract, the health insurance that we're doing. We're looking at moving some funds from one thing to another that covers, so that we make sure that the areas that need to be, like the landscape maintenance and stuff like that, for Judy and the maintenance guys to keep our community looking good. So there has been a lot of work put into it. There's still work that needs to be done on it, but we are diligently putting this together for everybody so that we can, because, I mean, it's not just your money, it's our money too. And so this board is extremely committed to trying to make the best changes possible that we can make to tighten up our budget the way that it needs to be tightened up, but yet not suffer in the neighborhood or in any part of the community, and to take care of the infrastructure of the community. We are taking care of the community, the tennis court, where we have to redo the retaining walls and stuff. That work will be started. We've already talked about that in previous meetings, but that stuff is going to be starting soon. So we will see work being done, but we are watching every penny and every dollar. I just want to ensure everybody that it is an important factor to this board, and we are making sure that we take that into consideration.
So it's sort of streamlining, putting some committees with other committees. Fireworks is gonna work hand in hand with the events committee, so they can work together and get the shows that been lined up with the
Right.
entertainment, right?
Right, we won't have a fireworks committee, it will be a subcommittee underneath the events. All of the kids crew will be a subcommittee under the events, so that we can streamline and make sure that we know what's going on, because last year, the events committee got money from the kids crew and it kind of flows, and so we want to make sure that we aren't doing extra work on all of our committees, that we have those things all meshed together so that they all work. And we, like I say, we're watching everything like that so that we know what money is going out and then from what pot it's going out from. Our biggest idea is that we want to build up our reserve, and we want to try and streamline our note that we have to pay off for the building that we have here in a more timely manner. And so we are looking at making these cuts and making these savings this year. I do also want to say about the office staff, we are going to bring in a professional staff to help us, like I said before, because it is, T is at a situation, and I have talked to her, so it's okay that we let you guys know that her situation is critical at this point. She is very ill. She will be going through radiation and then chemo after that. And so we all want to keep her in our prayers. We want to keep her in our thoughts. If you want, to send her a card or whatever, you can call the office, get her address and things like that, because community is very important to her. We keep tabs on her all the time. So it's very important to her, and I know that she wishes she could be here. She is still trying. She's on the phone. She's emailing and texting with us all the time, and I'm trying to get her to stop. As a person who's been through chemo and radiation, I'm trying to tell her that it's extremely important to stay home and take care of herself and not worry about Chandlers. So that is why we are bringing someone in to help in a more efficient way than what we have right now.
We'll post more of the financial statement next couple of days. We get it, the bank statement all put together.
Okay, then I don't think there's any new business that we have to talk.
Well, we need to
Oh,
open up for any questions on the budget as part of the budget.
Oh, I thought I
discussion.
did. Sorry.
Sorry.
Anybody have any questions? Any comments? Evan?
Evan Madison, 202 Gravel Place. I was looking at it. The events committee has always been a super important committee to me, because it it really increases the community spirit. They've done a lot, especially even through COVID. It looks like that budget got increased from around, I think it was 8,000 before to 12.
Yes.
I guess it's already set for this year, but I would just go on record as saying, I feel like we should give them more to work with, because they're doing such a great job. And I think they can knock it out of the park even more.
I think I agree with you on that. I think that right now we've talked with them about what's going on. And so until we actually firm up some of the other numbers, we don't want to put more money in that we don't really have. or to short ourselves in a reserve area, so, because we are trying to build it up and pay down the debt that we have. So I think that that's a valid comment, and I mean, it's a definitely, and that's kind of why we're streamlining those committees together, so that we aren't over engaging in one committee and not the other.
But we also have property repairs that the wall over here is going to be fixed. So, Chip, you said that, they contacted you and they're ready to go with it, right?
Yeah, it's just, I think there's, obviously, you know, Evan, your points are well taken, and we got a limited amount, we have 2.139 million to work with, and we see as we move through the year where we have, some opportunity to move more over there, we certainly, as a board, I think would be open to taking that approach, so.
Yeah, if not this year, next year.
Yeah, I mean,
I just think that that's a
Yeah.
really, especially what we saw through COVID and the concerts and all that kind of stuff and bringing the community together.
We
I
have,
agree. I
we
mean,
have
I
that
just,
$37,000 retaining wall that has to be
I'm
fixed.
with
So,
that's
Yeah,
more
there's-
priorities. I just sold my house for 2 people that wanted to be here because they saw the amazing stuff that
yeah,
in this neighborhood.
it's
So
real
it's-
exciting.
yeah.
And those of you that are doing turkey trot, you need to. So
even
much
just to
fun.
drive around and see, it was so cool last
Yeah.
year. You know, so.
Yeah,
But the events we did is lots of great things.
Yeah.
they do, and Lauren really, she does a yeoman's job on everything. She does all our flyers and events.
follow-up question on that. I remember that they had difficulties in some of the constraints of their annual budget and being able to do things because it gets broken out monthly.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
gotten corrected for them so they can have more flexibility in how they
It
spend
is.
money?
It is, let me explain, that was something that I think that, because we look at it as the events happen at certain times, and when we're looking at the budget, it's spelled out into 12 months. One of the things that we have to always take into consideration and remember is that our dues are what drives our budget. And our dues are every month. We have people that pay the whole year at a time, so that money comes in right at the beginning of the year. But then we have people who just pay every month. So that money only comes in, rolls out month by month. So we spread our money out this way. But what we do have is the ability to, if something is happening in this particular month, it doesn't mean that they're only gonna get $400 because it's at $400. So
That's been
money
a
can
constraint in the
be,
past though, correct?
it has
Yeah.
happened in the past,
Okay.
but it's going to be corrected.
I think one of the things that we took to heart on this is how to potentially work some accruals here, because we operate on a modified cash basis. And but how we can handle some accruals here at the end of the day, this is what we have to work with, and if we can set in some of these cases up an accrual and move it, that we're open to doing that. So it's not in the big scope of things.
Yeah.
At the end of the year is to zero it out or have a positive balance. Sure.
Right. Anyone else have any other questions or any other comments or input? Okay.
Based on that, I would offer a motion that we approve the budget as stated for 2022.
Let me add a point of, we had in executive session switched some of the funding around.
Doesn't change the dollar amount.
It doesn't, no. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that that's okay. Do I have a
I'll
second?
restate my motion is that we approve the budget based on any changes within accounts, but the amount is not to exceed the $2.139875 million.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Unless
Somebody-
Bruce
Bruce
is
did.
Forget
Sunny Florida.
That's right, thank you, Bruce. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the budget is adopted as it states with our few modifications. We don't have any new business right now to discuss.
Yes, we do.
What are we discussing?
We have we need to ratify, well, we need to have an owner visitors form, but we do need to ratify the C and F Electric. For, that we did by e-vote for, the electrical work for the generator for the guardhouse.
Sorry,
You're
I didn't
okay.
get that on my thing. Okay. Is there anyone that needs to talk during the honor? Evan?
I just want to confirm, so we just did a 10% increase on dues?
Yes.
Okay, great. Curious on the second PPP loan. If I remember correctly, that was like a $91,000, which is roughly half of the increase that you just approved.
Right,
Exactly.
So it seems like it's a fairly significant amount.
right.
Has the application for forgiveness been started?
Mhm.
It has been applied for?
It has, we are still in the process of working with Kemper. Accounting is now working with us on getting that information. The B1 Bank does not do it anymore. What did they,
They sold the service.
right, I can't remember how exactly they sold that. So we are working, that is still in the process, and we still are looking that we will get that. I think it's like 90 something.
Just short of
Right,
90,
yeah.
just
So-
short of 92,000.
If I'm understanding you correctly, it sits as a liability until it's forgiven.
Yes.
Right,
So that will positively impact retroactively the 2021 budget,
it will.
making it look significantly
Yes.
better as it
Yes.
was.
It'll offset losses for PYC in the amount of 90, just short of $92,000.
Okay, and just to bring us all up to speed. So I think that we were able to start that process at the beginning of October, so it's in about 6 weeks. Is there a end date at which we can't get that?
According to Kemper Sports, it's not.
In October.
I'm confused as how Kimber Sports is involved in it, which
It's the
since
Not
it's-
an accountant.
The accounting part of
they've
it.
taken that over,
Yes.
because we're the ones that applied for it, the
Right,
CLCA.
right.
Okay,
That they are working with us on, because it's the accounting through them.
so do we know what specific steps have taken place so far and what's left? Just because it's a big number.
Right. The only thing I can tell you on this is that T was working on it. And so I'm unfortunately, and I know this is not a cop out, this is just the reality that we are dealing with in the office. Those are questions that we have asked, and we are getting answers, and that's one of the reasons why Donna in Kemper, she is the accountant for Kemper, and she is helping us work through this because we don't want it to fall through the cracks at all.
Right.
They have been talking to them, they were informed, but we are making sure, we have a meeting on Monday to discuss this further with them, with the actual applying, making sure that everything is still on track and that when the window opens and all of that.
When the window opens for forgiveness,
Mhm.
which was in October.
That's when we can apply.
Okay.
But now we have, there's a window for them to make the decisions.
Okay.
So, and we will keep everybody informed on that, how that works and what's going on with that.
Okay.
Okay, Chip, you have a motion for,
Any other questions for?
well, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I'm just saying want to make sure, Judy.
Yes, I live at 5554 Canada Court. This is probably a question for Randy, because I didn't want to bother the office, but 5552 Canada Court is right next to me.
Okay.
We're adjoining because they all are down there. It's been derelict for 6 to 8 months. It was purchased by somebody whose son lives here on Cambria. His name is Houston. I don't know what his last name is, but the mother's name is Holloway, except I think she got married again. And anyway, he was going to move there and fix it up, and he thought he wanted to have a party house, according to literally what he told me. But he's changed his mind on that, being that that's Retirement Road down there. I mean, it's not a big party crowd. So they have left it sitting there, vacant. They tore down a bunch of stuff inside, like the kitchen cabinets are sitting on the floor. The carpeting is in massive disarray because there was a little damage from the winter storm. One of the biggest problems is the back deck. They tore it completely out and there it sits. They did haul away the wood, took them forever, but so that's not sitting there, but it's just an open, vacant, weedy. It's not very attractive. Can't be seen from the front, so nobody really notices much more back. But I was like, and I could probably have looked up the covenants, but that requires internet expertise, which I don't have. So I don't know what is allowed for a house to sit that way, vacant and nothing happening. And what I'm really worried about is,
Well, the first question is whether or not they even got permission to do any exterior work. So that's under the covenants, they would have had to apply for.
Oh,
not
really?
to Jump in on Randy here, but they should have applied for that, and there are consequences for not building it back. So we certainly appreciate you making us aware of that. We'll get the appropriate staff to take a look at it and contact the owner on what, and then the other piece of it is there any permitting? You can't technically tear it off the house without getting a demolition permit from the city of Rockwell. So there's a number of issues here that we need to look into.
and they
Maybe
just
get
had,
the city involved too. The city has some
oh,
pretty good.
okay.
Yeah, they've been very helpful on some of these road events.
Well, I know people who know him and he's dropped by, but he's quit coming now for at least 3 months or so. He doesn't come visit. It's abandoned as far as I'm concerned. And I know he, like I say, lives up on Cambria. And Gail and David Miller have talked to him and he says, oh, I'm not going to do anything with it. I lost interest in it. But then when I see him, which has been a few months now, and he said, oh no, we're just waiting on materials. We can't get them.
Sure.
They're sitting on the boats out in the Pacific, stuff like that. So I'm hearing excuses, but it's really been almost 8 months now. And I'm sorry.
No sweat. We'll look into it.
Thank
Promise.
you. Thank you.
Evan, did you? Oh.
Tony, Tony DiMaggio, 5813 Constellation Circle. As a follow-up on this, do we as a community have what the cost of that freeze has costed our community? Because I mean, to me, it's like fascinating just up and down the street. I mean, there's a house right here, just you can see it from the club here, that I don't know exactly what happened. I did see that stuff was finally getting worked on in this, I don't think it's an abandoned house or anything like that. It's just, don't know what you don't know. I mean, all my neighbors up the street, I mean, they haven't even been living in their houses for the longest time. And
We have no way of knowing what the cost is. We know it's a lot of money, but we don't.
Each homeowner impact would have to report.
That's outside the purview of what we're here for.
A lot of these projects, I mean, we lost a pipe ourselves and we just now, I mean, I just had the painters in and I'm in the business.
Yeah.
So I know that we have allowed construction, we let some allowances go on in here just because things had to happen for people to be able to live in their home. So you'll see dumpsters and there's things that go on that we don't typically allow.
About any of that.
But a lot of cases, if there was a lot of damage in a home, their insurance companies allow for them to live somewhere else while that construction is going on. Then they find out it's very difficult to get contractors in a timely fashion to get this work done. I mean, I deal with it all the time in my business, and it really is difficult to get materials and people on the job sites. And really, especially if a homeowner is trying to do it themselves, it's really tough. It's real tough because everybody is so busy right now. I think Ben can speak to that in his business. Every phase of all the trades right now are just crazy busy.
My wife needs a new turbo and they're like no shipping, there's no parts for car parts and stuff.
Yeah, just at the chip to the Cadillac is like.
Don't walk
non-existent.
Go walk into Sherwin-Williams, and see how much paint they have.
That's right.
They have no
Treatment tested.
No paint.
I didn't know that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but he is.
They had to go to 12 places to get.
Kevin?
I'm wondering if that applies to garage doors as well.
Oh.
And it's been several months that we're looking at tarps over
Yeah.
where a garage door should be. And not just that, the siding on the house that we're talking about that you guys are obviously all aware of.
Yeah.
On the back left corner of it, when you're on volunteer and looking, it's like literally falling off and the underside is exposed.
We need to follow up on it. I will tell you, I had to get a new garage door. I chose to. I waited 7 weeks, but that was back at the beginning of the year. So
Right now, a custom door is about 16 weeks.
This is a standard.
I can, this has been a topic of conversation in staff meetings and. discussion about,
It's
you
a
know, just so you know,
entrance
this-
at the
this is a weekly
neighborhood.
Sort of discussion. Yeah,
It looks pretty bad.
Costco took me weeks to get a refrigerator.
Yeah.
They damaged it and it took them more weeks to get it all fixed.
Right.
And anything and everything from China is not coming.
They haven't given us a
So
Yes.
Yes,
Last question. I know, I saw that you guys just approved the October minutes. So obviously they're not up on Town Square, but I didn't see the September minutes. Are we,
It
I've
should
been-
be posted.
I've looked through the documents and the event posts.
We'll make sure that they're posted.
Okay,
This is-
and then I haven't seen any of the meeting videos posted anymore
Okay.
since like September or so.
okay, we'll make sure
I
that,
just didn't know if we
We'll
were
make
moving
sure.
away from that or
no,
feel like it's good transparency.
it
No,
is, and we're fine with that. We
Okay.
just, we'll make sure that that gets on, all of that gets caught up.
Okay.
Okay, so anybody else? Okay,
all right, new business.
new business.
All right,
New business.
we need to ratify the electronic vote for the cost to install for CNF Electric to wire up the generator for the guardhouse. And we asked for around a little over $4,000 just to have a little flex on this. I think it's 4,200, 4,250 is what we voted on. So I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Uh,
All right,
And then
thanks.
on that, just so we know, it's $30,000 to run natural gas there, so we won't be doing that. And I know this will come as a shock, but the lead time on a propane tank big enough to have natural or propane gas for the generator for some period of time, more than 10 minutes, is about an 8-week lead time. So hopefully it'll get here before the cold weather.
Okay, I'm gonna go over the old business is we still have the golf cart policy and the fine structure for that. The new policy is that all golf carts will be registered with the new decal. Those will be coming. Golf cart driving age without a parent is 16 years old with the driver's license. All drivers under 16 must have a parent or a guardian in the front seat with them, not hanging off the back. All underage drivers must have the CLCA driving course and obtain the CLCA permit. CLCA security will monitor for all compliance areas there. The new fine structure for this will be a violation. First violation, they'll get a warning to the parent. The second violation will be 50. Third is 125. The fourth one is 250 and 50. And the fifth one after that is $500 in loss of your golf cart privileges. All residents are required to have the golf cart registered per the CLCA bylaws that they all get at their property closing. So everybody gets a copy of that. Everybody should understand it. So I'm going to make a motion that we adopt this new golf cart policy and fine structure. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'm opposed.
What are you opposed to?
I'm opposed to it, so.
I know, I just was curious.
No, I think there's I'm opposed to some aspects of it. We can handle it offline. I'm not opposed to the concept. I'm opposed to some of the specifics. Still pass, it doesn't matter.
I just wanted to make sure. because there was something
Pass
we
by
needed to
6.
discuss. Okay. That moves us into the second owner visitor forum, Evan.
Well, I didn't hear what the youngest age for with a
I
parent
did- I-
driving.
It's 12.
It's 12.
Uh-huh.
And just to note that the golf cart training video link is on Town Square so that any parent that wants to go do that can go watch it. Or I mean kid, but via the parent.
Thanks for that.
Yeah,
Anything else?
this is a, as, this is really not the correct audience for this that's in the room.
Right.
But we have a number of, setting Judy aside. We have a number of derelict golf cart drivers in the neighborhood. I might fall on that list from time to time, according to some people. All joking aside here this is a classic example of some parents who have allowed their kids or continue to allow their kids to operate a golf cart in an unsafe manner now that's putting the kibosh on responsible parents that train their children and hold the line on it. So
Is this also going to be used as a process to weed out things like gators and other sorts of vehicles that
Yes.
I see a lot?
yeah,
That is one for the new registration.
I mean, that's the policy will be, you have to bring your golf cart up to the office so that we can physically take a look at it. That Rose is coming in and saying, oh, I have a club car. Well, what kind of, I assume club cars, just golf carts, they're not.
So how will those be handled? The people that are already in violation with
Everybody will
mini
be-
bikes and
Everybody
club
will
cars?
be re-registered.
Okay.
And the security will have all the information if they need to as far as how to handle the violators and how to check and monitor the kids that and people that are driving reckless on the golf cart, just as they would if they're driving reckless on
If
the
they come
side.
rolling up in their gator, you know.
It's got to be
oh,
stopped.
no,
I
you
mean, there's
will
because
not-
it's
not allowed to be
We will
in
not
here.
give
seeing more and more.
And they say, but it said, well, this is the old rules and this is, you're in violation of that. So I think it's, it's gonna be some,
Exactly.
maybe some hard conversations that we'll have to do that, but.
Factual.
What's a
Factual
gator?
conversation.
Also,
What's a gator?
it's like an ATV.
Do you think that anybody will say my gator identifies as a golf cart?
They want
They
to.
want to say that, I'm gonna tell them it doesn't.
Because you won't see one on a golf course.
That's right.
There's work being done.
Well, Buffalo Creek lets you put it over there.
The workers can.
That's totally different. Do you want to cut trees down and go?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
See if you can do that. Anybody else have anything else?
Just kidding.
And Madison can leave the room now.
All right. President says so.
Thank you. Everybody is welcome to talk and ask as many questions as they need to or want to. So if we don't have anybody else that has anything,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce. On vacation.
Enjoy the sun.
Oh, I know. We gotta-
How's it going?
Good. I don't.